Digital Marketing Strategies and Benefits webinar. So today we're happy to present our friends at Controlled Chaos to share some information. For those that missed the first one, essentially we had so much fun and ran out of time that we thought it was important to schedule a follow-up one and spend a little bit more time together. So we have 60 minutes set aside for today. Zach will walk us through some repeat information, but obviously some new information that we didn't get a chance to get through last time. So we just appreciate having you here, Zach, and information. Again, for anyone that's out there, we're doing a little bit different format, so you do have the ability to unmute and you can chime in with some questions. You can also, if you don't want to interrupt but want to remember your question, feel free to chat to everyone or privately to myself. I'll help facilitate things here. I probably should have introduced myself before introducing Zach, but my name is Lance Benedict. I'm the VP of Client Engagement for BCS, IT Managed Services company, and we partner with companies that do things that we don't always do. And that's why we have Controlled Chaos here. They're masters at digital marketing, and we rely on them to educate our customers. So we're happy to have Zach here and his team, and all of you here to join us as well. So with that, I will turn it over to you, Zach. Go ahead and do your thing.
Thank you, Lance. Like you said, did this a few weeks ago and ran out of time. I think me personally, I've been doing digital marketing for a long time. I can talk about this for days. So thank you all for joining, and let's get into it. First, I'll give you a little background on me. I have a background in digital marketing for 7+ years. I've worked with national publications and political campaigns to develop digital strategies, spanning across a wide range, as you can see here, of different products within digital marketing. And then about 3 years ago, started Controlled Chaos, and have been growing ever since. So these are the topics we, as a business, Controlled Chaos, we cover, the different products that we offer. I'll kind of go into detail of each one, the benefits, what we see as the key strategies. And then I tied together a case study with each of these. So you can actually put numbers behind all of these products, which is what we like to do at Controlled Chaos. Cool. So let's get right into it. First thing that we do is SEO, search engine optimization. This is basically structuring your website through content, through linking, through 500+ different tools on your website to rank higher within Google and Bing and every other search engine. So how we typically go about this with a client, we separate types of searches, right? First thing is branded searches. We look at your brand name, we look at your company name, any colloquial terms with your brand name, if there's a shortened version, a longer version that people use. And that's the first step in any SEO campaign, is if people are searching your brand name, if they're specifically looking for you, if you've gotten to the point where they are looking for your company specifically, you need to be taking up as much real estate on that search engine results page as possible. I'm sure we're all familiar with the little knowledge graph that appears in the right-hand corner with more details and reviews and ratings and times and openings and buttons to your website and calling. That's what we do. That's search engine optimization, making sure that you are covered, especially when people do search your branded term. The second strategy is more general product search and service searches. So for us, if people are looking up SEO companies, or paid search companies, we want to make sure we're ranking within those different searches. They're typically a little more competitive, but if you structure your content right, if you get some good links deeper in your website, it is possible to rank. And those are very high quality people because they're looking for your service, yet they didn't know that you were there. So it's a great way to get your brand in front of people a little higher in the buying cycle. And then once you establish those, the last one, and it's the most popular type of search in Google, we've all done it, is question searches. Things framed as a question, like what is SEO? Things like that. If you can get your company through content to be ranking for those question searches, Those are a great get to build trust with the customer, to build authority in the industry. They're just a great get to be ranking highly for that. So that's typically how we separate searches, and we have a different strategy for each. And basically SEO overall, to rank higher, it's broken down into two real avenues: authority and relevancy. First is authority, and Google gives every website an authority score, and it's based on a number of things. Internal links within your website. So how many times are you linking to other pages? Are there any dead ends in your website? Meaning if someone gets to a website or a web page and there's no links away and they got to hit the back button, that actually Google spiders find that, and they find dead ends, and you get dinged for that. Google wants you to be able to cruise easily through all these pages. More importantly, with authority, is how many other websites are linking to your website. This can be through directories, this can be through press publications, any kind of outside website linking to you. That is a huge thing for Google. As more websites link to your website, Google thinks, oh, this must be a great resource for whatever information or content you have on your website. So that's a way that we operate to establish authority, is we get into directories, forums, any review type of website, and we get links to our client's website. Another thing is, and I'm sure everybody has been told this, blogs and fresh content on your website is hugely important. If your website's a bit stale, if it hasn't been updated since 2011, Google knows that, and it sees that content as out of date, and you get dinged a little bit in the rankings. So having this fresh stream of content to your website is hugely important to your authority. And something that we can't control, but is just what it is how the lifetime of the website as well. How long have you been live? How long have you been on the internet? Newer websites have a tougher time ranking. If you've been around for decades, years, whatever, you move up a little better because you have more authority. And so that's authority. The other side is relevancy, which is really when someone searches a keyword, how often is that keyword used throughout your website? I pulled an example with us of our metadata. Now, metadata is not necessarily content on your web pages, but it's content that you put on the back end for Google to pull as information about your web page. So we've all seen these Google listings. It's separated into three categories. You have the page title right at the top. You can see Controlled Chaos Media, and then the home page. That is a great way. This is our homepage, so we're trying to get branded searches, right? So that's where we're using our brand name. We're trying to, people searching Controlled Chaos Media, we're trying to get them right to our homepage and take up that keyword. The second, and it's often overlooked, is the green text, the URL. If you structure URLs on your website to contain keywords, not just an auto-generated URL that's populated on the back end, that's a great use to get additional keywords used. And the third, and probably the most important, I would say, and the best way to improve your relevancy is the meta description, which is the gray text right below there. You can see in ours, we have Grand Rapids, we have digital marketing, and then at the end, we're using keywords like Google Analytics, SEO upgrades, and PPC campaigns. And those are the keywords that we're trying to use throughout the site. So people looking up SEO, Google Analytics, PPC, or paid search, we're trying to become relevant to that. And that way we'll rank up a little higher. Other ways that you can build relevancy is obviously your on-page content. Google has these things called spiders that are constantly crawling the internet and reading the content on your page. So the more you use content within, or those keywords within your content, the more relevant you are. A great way to as well boost relevancy is anchor text, which is actually the hyperlink text that you use to link to whether it be an outside site or another page on your website. Anchor text is a great way to use keywords. If you have SEO upgrades as a text link, Google reads that as a link. It reads this as an SEO link, and then you get boosted up a little higher. And then the third, and this is probably the most common issue that we see when we come onto new client sites, is alt text and images. Every website has to have some beautiful images to create aesthetics. The problem is those Google spiders can't see what's in an image. So instead of having, instead of just kind of showcasing it, you put what's called alt text on the back end, which is just text associated to the picture. So when a Google spider crawls through the page, you can see, oh, this is a picture about paid search campaigns. Even though it can't see what's in the picture, you still get that keyword repetition throughout your website. Any questions on that? I figured since it's kind of collaborative, I'll kind of stop at each one and pause for a second. Any questions or anything as far as SEO? Cool. So like I said, we will incorporate a little case study as we go through this. But I learn best when these kind of abstract strategies are applied to actual campaigns. So I figured I'd include that. What we're going to do is we're going to look at Prestige Care, which is an assisted living and rehabilitation client that we have located on the West Coast. They have 84 locations throughout the West Coast. And we've done all these services for them. So I like to give an example with this. So with SEO and Prestige Care, first thing we looked at, and we always look at, is search trends. Like I said before, there are colloquial terms, there are industry terms, there's jargon. What are your customers actually searching? So when we look at that search trend report in the top left, you can see we compared nursing home. How often are people searching nursing home versus retirement home versus assisted living? So you can see the highest search trend is nursing home. That's the most common one. That's the colloquial phrase that people use. Assisted living second. But what we can actually do is look up search trends by state and by even zip code. So what we did, we pulled the locations in that map on the bottom left, and actually assisted living's in blue, nursing homes in green. So you can see assisted living is a more frequently searched term on the West Coast. Why? Political correctness, I don't know what it is. It's just more commonly searched on the West Coast. That is the phrase people use, especially within Google. So since they're located on the West Coast, we decided to structure their website after assisted living keywords. What we also found is 65% of these searches can contain what's called a geo-modifier. That means that they're doing assisted living Seattle, assisted living San Diego, assisted living San Francisco. They're adding a location to whatever service trend we have. And that is hugely important because you want to structure your site to hit those local markets through relevancy on your website. Excuse me. What we also found when we got in here, 87% of the searches they were getting were branded searches, meaning they contained the word Prestige Care. So there was a big project for us to start getting those service-based terms: assisted living facilities, assisted living care, memory care, things like that, that were more general, people in the higher end of the buying cycle rather than looking for their brand specifically. So what we did, we talked about metadata in the last slide. What we did, you can see on the right side, is an example. We emphasized location because of those geo modifiers. We put Portland Assisted Living. We emphasized the name of the individual facility, Summer Place, right up there. So anybody looking up Summer Place, anybody looking up Portland Assisted Living in a general term, we're going to build relevancy for that. And then we also emphasize some more specific services in the meta description. You can see at the end, while receiving the best in Alzheimer's and dementia care. This specific facility specializes in memory care. For people searching for Alzheimer's care, dementia care, we added that relevant term to their meta description. And then as far as authority goes, we got them listed on about 300 directories for every single location. There's a bunch of review websites that we got their facility listed on as well. And that just builds links from other sites to their website and to that page specifically, which boosts your authority. And down at the bottom right, oh yeah, you can see my mouse. So down here at the bottom right, you can see the results. They had a big boost in organic traffic, especially pages to their individual facilities and their individual location pages. A huge spike in that. And then new users, we are finding all of these new users because we caught them higher in the search cycle, in the buying cycle. They were just looking for general services. we got them, and we developed new users to their websites. And then organic search, which is SEO, became 2/3 of all their web leads. It was a huge lift. It was a huge increase just by adjusting those little things on the website. Cool. If there's any questions on that, I'll keep going. All right. So SEO is one portion of search. That is the organic. Oh, I'm sorry. Was that something? Okay. So SEO was one part of it. It's organic search. It's using Google's algorithm to rank higher. The other part of it is where Google makes the money, pay-per-click ads. Basically, these are ads that you bid on a keyword. It's a bidding system where you say, I want to rank for assisted living. My website's not currently there through SEO. I'm willing to pay $3 for every click I get for people searching assisted living. And basically, you get placed at the top of the search engine. There's a little ad notification next to you, but you're willing to pay $3, and you pay $3 every time someone clicks on your ad. So the benefit of it is quick. SEO takes a while. You do these adjustments, Google re-indexes you, makes some adjustments, and then you start to slowly climb the rankings. PPC or pay-per-click, it is instant. You turn it on, your ads are appearing, you're number one on there unless you have some competitors, and it goes. The problem is when you turn it off, you're gone. That traffic's gone, and SEO continues long term. The biggest benefit that I think to PPC when you have the budget is the targeting options. You can get very, very granular with who your ad appears in front of. I pulled some different options here on the left. You can target by age. So if you only want your ad to appear for 25 to 35-year-olds, you can have that. If you only want them to appear on mobile phones rather than desktops or tablets, you can target that. You can target by household income. You can target by their previous search history, the pages they frequent, the pages that they like. Those are all things that you can really find. Google just tracks that data naturally, and you can target your ads to that. So you can get very granular. The biggest benefit that I think is what's called retargeting with PPC ads. I think we've all been on Amazon and looked at a product, didn't buy it, and then went somewhere else on the internet and saw the big ad for Amazon with the product that we looked at. That is retargeting. If someone clicks to your website or your company website, we can basically, I frame it as a bucket. We can basically put them in a bucket and send them ads anywhere they go on the internet. These are highly qualified people. They're familiar with your brand. They've shown an interest in what you do at some point. So keeping that frequency and keeping your business top of mind through retargeting is a great, great tool to get some conversions. And you can do that through general website visitors, anybody that visits your websites. If you put in proper tracking and you have like someone purchasing something on your website, you can just target people that haven't made a purchase yet, which is a great way to separate out different audiences. And then you can even send them ads at a specific time of day. If you're only operating 8 to 5, you can only send, then you can time it out so only ads are being sent during that time. It's great if you're trying to drive calls to your business or your sales team, anything like that. Restricting the time of day is a great one. And then with search ads, I mean, like I mentioned, the ones within search engines, you can also, I think we're all familiar with the YouTube ads as well. You can, through Google pay-per-click, Google owns YouTube, and YouTube is actually the second biggest search engine behind Google. So YouTube ads, you can target by keyword there. You can target by channel. You can target by demographics as well. And it's just those ads that play right before the videos. And the benefits of those is if someone clicks skip ad, which I'm sure we're all frequently doing as well, you don't have to pay for it. So you get some branding right at the beginning. They hit skip ad and it's totally free. It's free advertising basically. And then the third is digital display. When you go to any content site, news site, blog, recipe page, it's those ads that appear on those websites. And you can do that through retargeting. You can target by website, all of those different options. And really, I think when we run PPC ads, we have really 3 keys to success. There's different ways you can target a keyword, broad, phrase, or exact. Broad is basically you put in assisted living, and anybody using assisted living in any kind of way, whether it's where are the best assisted living places in Chicago, or what's the top 10 assisted living. Anytime they use it, any kind of phrase, your ad's going to show. And phrase match is basically if we do best assisted living, anytime assisted living, anytime they use best assisted living in a phrase, we're going to target that. And then exact is only if we want to target a keyword that's only assisted living. Anytime someone just types in assisted living, any variation we don't want to appear, assisted living is the only thing we want to appear for. That utilizing that targeting in your keywords, knowing when to use a broad match, knowing when to use a phrase, and knowing when to use an exact match really helps stretch your budget, because again, you're paying $3-4 for every click to your website. You want to make sure that budget is stretched and you're finding the highest quality people. So utilizing that is something that when we get into campaigns that have been run by other agencies, they don't really take advantage of that. And that's something that we recommend for everyone. Really get into your keywords and be intentful of how you do targeting. The second is keeping your ad copy relevant to the person. If you have someone searching assisted living and then we show a memory care highlighting our great memory care facilities, they're not going to find that ad relevant. Making sure you use small ad groups with a few keywords to really keep the ads relevant. It's best used if they search assisted living. If you have assisted living right in your ad, they want to see that search term right back at them. When they search memory care, they want to see memory care in the ad right back at them to keep that consistent going. They're looking for memory care, they see memory care, they're going to click on the ad. That is a great way to utilize it, keeping that copy very relevant by keeping those ad groups small. And then the third is something that a lot of agencies overlook as well, is optimize. These campaigns, you get so much great data back. Who's clicking, where are they clicking? You can get it down to zip code, what time of day, all of these things. And it's important as these campaigns are running, you are optimizing your targeting and changing your bidding options to make them run better. These pay-per-click campaigns, in theory, if you do them correctly, are going to get better and better and better and better over time. Because you get more data back and you can change your targeting. Any questions on PPC versus SEO, or what's the difference, or anything like that?
Hey, Zach, just to let you know, there's a little bit of an audio delay, so maybe just wait 30 seconds, see if there's any questions.
Gotcha. Good call. Thank you, Lance. I'm just used to rolling by this so quickly.
Anyone, any questions? Can use chat or should be able to unmute.
Cool. I'm covering it well.
Yeah. Go for it.
Awesome. Okay, so let's go back to the case study with Prestige Care. So when we did a PPC campaign for Prestige Care, what we focused on were the service-based and question-based. I am a huge proponent. You should never be paying for your brand name searches. If people are searching for your brand name, they're already interested in your company. You should not be paying to get them to your website. You should focus on these general terms that are a bit harder to get on the SEO end because they're so competitive. You should be focusing on just trying to usurp that SEO and get right in there for very general terms. So what we did, you can see a quick list of service-based terms: assisted living, memory care, dementia care. And I gave an example with the quotations around the keywords. Those are phrase-based keywords that we said. So anytime they used assisted living in a phrase, we were going to bid on that. Same with memory care. With the brackets around the keyword, that is the exact match. So that is anytime someone specifically searches dementia care, that is we're going to be bidding on that keyword and no other variation of that. And then the senior homes without anything is broad. So anytime they use senior homes in any kind of phrasing, in any kind of long form, short form search, we want to be there. And then we did questions based. We had some extra content built out, and then what are the symptoms of dementia? We had a little page built out and we bid on that keyword and we got traffic for those people searching the questions. Very high in the buying cycle, but it's great to get your brand in front of them during that. And then I think the best thing about PPC, as I said, is optimizing. Testing is part of that. So what we did is we put a bunch of headline variations that would rotate automatically and until we found the best combination. So we talked about the staff, we talked about, we put the brand name in there. We talked about the award-winning facilities. We, as we mentioned, the location, because we found that was very important with clients. We even had a call to action, which is schedule a tour today, which is what we were trying to get the customers to do. And then the responsive ad headline is actually, you can place this within Google to actually mimic whatever the search term is. So if someone searches assisted living, it'll show assisted living in the ad. If someone searches memory care, it'll show memory care. The issue I have with this one is it'll also show misspellings. So if someone has a misspelling in their search, it'll actually appear as a misspelling in your ad. So just being careful about that. But what we did, we ran all of these at the same time, put them in different combinations, and eventually we optimized to the best combination of all three, which was the brand name, assisted living, talking about the quality care and staff, and then the award-winning facilities. So having those three in combination was the one that we got the best clicks and the best engagement on. So we ended up optimizing to that ad. You can see the numbers in the right-hand corner. We had a traffic increase. This is where we found the most amount of new users because we were catching them very high in the buying cycle when they were searching general terms. And then we got a huge boost in web leads as well. Any questions on the data or anything on that end? Right on. Cool. All right. Our next service is content marketing. And I'm sure everybody's heard this as well. Fresh content, I mentioned it on the SEO end. Developing a specific strategy for your content is a huge benefit to getting people to your website. It creates more what we call access points to your website, rather than just people landing on the homepage. Having these deeper contents gets people on a deeper search level. So what we typically do with content is we put it in pillars, right? We have content that's just specifically used to boost your keyword relevancy. They're not great to read. They're a little corporate language, but what they do is they use keywords frequently throughout the website. And that way Google, when it crawls your website, sees you using that keyword a lot on different pages, thus you rank higher. So I gave an example. Controlled Chaos leads the way in awesome webinar sessions. That is something that we want to do. SEO boost, you can see we're trying to get our brand name, Controlled Chaos, right there. The second pillar is shareability. These are designed to go on social media channels, whether that be Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, anything that's easily sharing content. It is designed to have people engage and share on their own. And this develops great brand awareness because they see your article being shared. I think we've all seen the BuzzFeed articles, like the 10 tips for anything, the 5 ways you can create something. Those are great shareable articles because you're telling people, with that number in front, you're telling people how long the article is before they even get into it. If it's only 5 tips, if it's 25 tips and they want to get in there and read details, you're already kind of hinting to people how long this read will be. And that's a best way to kind of boost shareability, get people to engage. And what was the one? 10 tips for any presenter to make their webinar much, much more interesting, which I should read. The third way is hot button issues. What's relevant in your industry? What is the debating points? What is something coming up that is hotly contested in your industry? These are great ways to, 1, build shareability, and 2, become, I hate the term thought leader, but to become a leader in the industry as far as pushing the conversation forward. Yes, so since the pandemic, webinars have greatly increased, but we're still learning nothing. So again, a lot of self-deprecation, but these are the type of issues that we're talking about the pandemic, COVID-19. These are the hot button issues. This is something relevant right now. We push it out there, we get it on social media, and people will engage because it's current. And it builds you as the industry leader. And again, with content marketing, a huge thing is optimizing as well, right? Optimizing what channel is the best to share these different kinds of content, right? Twitter might not be the best content sharing example for SEO boost, but it might be for hot button issues. People engage. Twitter is the right now, this is the news right now type of platform. So getting those hot button issues on Twitter might be a better avenue than Facebook or LinkedIn. What time of day you post is hugely important. Nobody's reading industry articles on Saturday at 2 p.m., right? The best times that we found with social media, there's a big spike 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. before this came down, before people went into work. We found a spike around lunchtime, which is about 11 to 12:31. And then the biggest spike of the day was 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., that hour frame right after dinner. People hop on their phones and are engaging, and that is a huge spike in social traffic. So if you time your content releases around those spikes in traffic, you're guaranteed to get better engagement than posting on random times. And then always, as we say, check out the analytics, look at your page engagement, look at how long people stay on the page, look at how deep they're scrolling on the page. Put these analytics to use and structure your pages a little better. So as you're releasing these contents, you can really, really boost engagement. And the last thing that I always recommend to clients is there's a joke that anybody can write a blog, and there's a lot of truth to that. I think companies that struggle to put out new content, I recommend to enlist the help of your employees, right? Give them incentives, make them, highlight them, get them a little personal branding, whatever it might be, the sales team, the managers, the executives, whoever that might be, enlist the help of all your employees to keep this content fresh. The sales team might have a different pitch than executives, and managers might have an idea of what their hot button issues are. So enlist the help of everybody. And then I think I hit all the keys to success. Make sure you create a calendar. Having what you're knowing ahead of what you're going to release ahead of time is better than scrambling to write something. And like I said, new content is a huge, huge, huge thing. Keep pushing out new content. And then my recommendation to all clients, or every content that we write, is have 3 links to somewhere else on your website and 3 links to some other website somewhere else. This helps your SEO as you're pushing out. You can build your links within your website. And if you're linking to other websites, Google sees that you're a great reference and they're not hitting a dead end, and ranks you higher in any keywords. Any questions on that? How am I doing on time? Right on. Cool. Very attentive crowd. So then before I get into the case study, I want to talk about social media marketing too. I mentioned it a few times with content. These kind of go hand in hand. I wouldn't say they're the same, but they do tie in together. So I think the first thing, what we talk about with every client that we bring on, are what are the channels that you're really, that you need to be on. Not every business needs to be on every single platform, or at least active on every platform. Although it is nice to have at least a profile so nobody takes your profile on Snapchat. Just kind of keeping your brand name locked in with all these channels, even though you're not very active. So you can see the different listings here. Facebook, it is skewing very much older, especially in the last 5-6 years. It is very much used by older demographic. It's a passive scrolling. People aren't there to buy things or really search out new information. They're just passively scrolling. But you get great shareability within Facebook. LinkedIn, we all know, business centric, industry-based content should go there, and very sales heavy. So when you're selling products, services, LinkedIn's a great channel for that. And that leads me to another point that we always bring up with our clients too. On your social media channels, there should be a mix. There shouldn't be, you shouldn't be selling something every time you post. Nobody's there to just constantly get fed with deals or discounts or whatever. engage with people like a regular person on social media, participate in, like I said in the keys to success, participate in the social holidays. There's 1, 2, or 3 or 4 every week, whether it's Love Your Pet Day or High Tides Day. There's a random social media event. I'm not saying participate in every single one, but keep tabs of them and find the ones that you can have fun with as a company or are relevant to you in some way, and just post a picture, post a little comment about it. Don't always be selling something. Engage in social media like a regular person. For a great example, I always tell people a great brand that does this is Slim Jims. Believe it or not, Slim Jims have cultivated an amazing following online. If you take a look at their social media platforms, they are very much not selling Slim Jims, but just meme heavy. But they've cultivated this kind of online following, and they've used it very, very well. I won't go through all the channels. We're familiar with all of those. But yeah, just kind of understanding how each platform operates. And if you're looking to build a following on social media, it's important to not just post and leave it. You need to engage, like other people's posts. Comment on people's posts is a great way to build a following too. Follow and subscribe other people. Engaging, again, it's that just engaging in social media like a regular person and not a company is a great way to kind of build that following online. Yeah, and the last key to success, it ties into the content marketing platform as well. Create a calendar, create a social calendar. If you can get ahead of all of these things, these posts, this content, and you can kind of lay a strategy out ahead of time, and you're not scrambling, being like, I haven't posted in 2 weeks, I need to throw something up. You're going to have a better following and results from your social media campaigns. Any questions on that? Right on. Cool. All right. And then, so we'll get into, oh, my pictures are broken. So we'll get into the assisted living strategy. I'll touch on this quickly because my pictures are broken. What we did with Prestige Care, we had an assisted living and a memory care strategy. And with assisted living on social media, we promoted lifestyles. We promoted resident fun things the resident were doing. The picture I had was they had a tiki bar at one of their assisted living facilities, a fun thing for all the residents. And what we did was just highlight the tiki bar. It was just, we're not selling anything. We're just promoting the lifestyle and the fun things that we do within all of these facilities for the residents. And then with the memory care strategy, it's very informational. It's very people that are worried about their loved one or themselves, and being a resource of information. The one that I had was fall prevention, a pamphlet that we released for fall prevention for loved ones. And it's people that have memory care issues, that may have falling issues as well from head trauma, being a resource for them. Not selling anything, just being an authoritative figure on the memory care strategy. And then you can see the results on the right side. Huge boost in, I think we tripled their page likes. Social traffic, which is traffic from social media to their website, grew exponentially. And then we doubled and over doubled their leads from social media. And then for every spend they had, for every $1 we spent on social media through any boosts or targeted ads, they got $124 in return. So that's a really good return on ad spends. It's just important to be engaging like a regular person on social media and not, even though you're a business. Cool. And I think, yeah, so we have, let me go up here. And then the last piece that we have, and I reviewed it in the last webinar as well, as analytics. This ties everything together, all of those strategies. You're not going to be able to optimize, get better at anything without understanding the analytics. So we have some free tools that we use. I listed right up there. Search Console tells you how Google is indexing your site. If pages are not indexed, if there's any errors, like 404 errors that they're picking up. Hotjar is a tool that's great that we use all the time, that develops click heat maps on your web page, so you can see where people are clicking. You can see where their mouse moving. You can even get recordings of people using your website to understand How is engagement working? Are they hitting any dead ends? Is there anything that looks clickable that isn't clickable that people are constantly hitting? Because that's a point of frustration. We've all been there on a website as well. SEMrush tells you how often or how high you're ranking on different keywords. So you can do some research and see what keywords am I ranking for. You obviously want to be in the top 10, but it'll tell you if you're ranking 95th on a keyword, it'll tell you that, and you know you're on the 9th page because every page shows 1 through 10. Nobody goes to the 9th page of Google. They only stay on the first page. If they don't get what they're looking for, they research. But it's good to know so you can boost that rankings up. Moz is a great tool we use as well to get link building and link information. It shows you how many different sites are linking to you, how many number of links are on your website, and shows you some details as far as building those links, what directories you're on, what directories you have incorrect information, things like that. And then Screaming Frog is another great tool that we use. It replicates a Google Spider, so it crawls through your site, and it tells you all the detailed information that Google usually gets, how fast your web page is, are there any errors, what type of content does it see on your page. So these are all great tools that you should utilize, and they're free, or hire us to utilize them. And then I just think with analytics, you're not going to be able to grow if you don't understand your reach. Who are you reaching right now? How are they finding your site? You can see I pulled an example. Typical analytics will break it down. Organic search, your SEO, how many people are coming in through paid search, how many people are coming directly to your site, whether they have it bookmarked or typing it into their URL. It tracks referral sites, so other websites linking to you, where are those links coming from, and then obviously social media. And then engagement as well, how bounce rate, how often are people landing on a page and leaving right away. You obviously want people to click through different pages and to really go into your site. So tracking that type of stuff is hugely important to growing as a company and growing your digital presence. And then I talked about social media, and one of our favorite things to do, it's a little creepy, I get that, but what we do is we get demographic information from Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and Pinterest. Everybody's pre-logged into LinkedIn. Everybody's pre-logged into Facebook. You don't type your password every time you go to Facebook. So that information is saved in your browser. So what we can do is place a pixel on your company website, a Facebook pixel, let's say, and then what it does is someone visits your company website, it takes all their demographic information from Facebook, their age, their location, where they work, their likes, the pages that they like, the pages that they frequent, takes all that information, and then it bundles it into a demographic profile of people visiting your site. It stays anonymous, so you can't say Jerry from San Diego visit my site, but you just get a sense on aggregate the types of people visiting your site. Same thing goes for LinkedIn. You can get their job titles, where they're from, the companies that they're visiting, and Instagram as well, because Facebook owns Instagram, and Pinterest does the same thing. So utilizing those tools to kind of build a nice demographic profile for your company website is a great way to get a better understanding of who you're targeting, and if you want to target someone else. And then the keys to success of analytics: create a finish line. What's the goal, right? Is it filling out a contact form? Is it clicking on a phone number? Is it filling out? Is it buying a product? What is the finish line? What's the goal? As you run all these different campaigns, there needs to be an end goal where you can measure success, more than just traffic to your website. How are they engaging on your website? And then create a proper measurement timeline. I do this because a lot of people like to look at month over month. Did we grow in April compared to March? Are we doing better? But often that's not really relevant. It's seasonality has a bit to play. Even in assisted living, there's a little seasonality. The holidays, it spikes up a little more because people are spending time with their families, and they're thinking about their parents, their older parents, and whether they need to be placed in assisted living. So we see a spike in seasonality. So comparing year over year is a lot more relevant and a lot better gauge of our growth. And then I'm always an advocate: give access to your teams, share this data. You can't break the analytics on the back end, but it might be helpful for your sales team or your management team to understand the analytics of your website. The data is free. Share it out with your team. I think it could help rather than hurt, right? So I think that's hugely important. And I find a lot of teams, marketing teams, when we come in and help, keep it very close knit of the analytics. And I just disagree with that. So the last slide before we get into any questions, here's an example of what we did with Prestige Care. The finish line, I pulled the form right there. It's just a request to information form. The whole goal of everything that we did, all those campaigns that we ran, were just to get people to fill out this form on the website, right? That is the goal. And we would target people and traffic people just to get that lead form. I pulled a little heat map example right here, just as an example. You can see the different clicks, the different hot zones in the top right. The biggest one on the top right is actually the locations button, which goes to the map of all their locations, which again follows up our search trends that people really care about location. Where these facilities are located is a huge deal in the buying cycle. So that's why we emphasize the location throughout all of these campaigns. And then when we did this demographic information we talked about, we found some interesting results. They skewed predominantly female. 81% of the visitors were female. Those are both residents. The females live a little longer, right? So they skew a little that way. And also we found with adult-age children of parents, adult-age children who are looking to place their parents in assisted living, it's often the daughter that is making that decision and doing the research. So we found targeting towards women is going to be a big benefit to us. And then the third demographic that we found, you can see it in the age demographics right here. This would be residents to 55 to 65 plus. We have a little spike here in the 45 to 54. 45 to 54 age, which is the adult age children of potential residents. And then the spike down here was actually a healthcare worker. This is the typical age of people looking to work at one of the facilities. So structuring the website to make sure each demographic is hitting the right area is a huge thing for us. We also found majority of them are married, 2/3 have a college degree, and a vast majority are already homeowners. So tailoring messaging to creating these facilities, moving out of a home and creating a facility that feels like home was a big deal for us to try to increase the engagement on the website. We also had some affinity metrics that we found the people that visited their websites were avid local news readers. So we started placing ads in the local news, got great engagement on that. Jazz enthusiasts, which they skew a little older, hindsight's 2020, you would think jazz would make sense, but we had the data behind it. So we started targeting jazz festivals. We would do ads within jazz festivals. We would do little sponsorships with jazz festivals. And we got an incredible response. It just tied together, and it was a little bit more of an abstract connection that you wouldn't make. And then the local football fans, majority were football fans, especially the Seattle Seahawks. So we started working with things on Seattle Seahawks. We would run ads for the recaps of Seattle Seahawks games in local newspapers. So you can get really granular with this targeting by getting this demographic information. And I think that does it for me. Are there any questions?
I have a question.
Yeah.
My name's Kelly. So we started, I work with like a small healthcare company. I recently working with, they're doing the same thing you're doing. But how do we understand? So they're saying it's taken them a really long time, like several months, to really get the SEO campaign going. And so we just started a pay-per-click campaign too, because we really need to ramp up the phone calls right now. But what is fair to ask of them within that, 30-day period of those campaigns starting?
Oh, that's a great question. I understand with SEO taking a little while. I think with PPC, it is, if you set a benchmark for them, we need 50 calls in a month. That is totally fair. PPC is very agile. It's very quick hitting. As soon as you turn it on, the ads are there, and you can make optimizations almost on the fly to really optimize towards clicks. So on the PPC end, I think it's totally fair to put your benchmark on that agency. On the SEO end, again, they're not in control of Google. We're not in control of Google. And typically what happens is you make a bunch of updates within 30 days. You make a ton of updates on the website. You give 30 days for Google to re-index and calibrate those changes. and then you start seeing the rankings the month after that. So SEO usually happens in 3-month chunks where you make the optimizations. First month you have re-indexing the second month, and then you see the rankings start to improve that third month. Yeah, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think it does. So if we're asking for the analytics of it, like what right now are, our customers clicking on, what words are they targeting? Like, should I ask for an SEO report, or what's the best way to kind of look at what we're currently doing right now, like what we're paying for? Because I don't feel like they really communicate very well with us. And again, it's hard to know even what to ask for to start with.
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So they should have, if you send out, you can ask for access to the Google Ads platform. I think that's totally fair for a client to ask. So you can get access in there and pull your own reports. For the SEO end, I think probably they should have Google Search Console established on your website, and what you can do is pull reports right from Google Search Console, and they can actually pull reports showing the keyword that's being searched, how many times the impressions, how many times you're appearing for that keyword, and how many clicks you get on that keyword. So you can get pretty detailed or SEO information from Google Search Console, and if you can either get access to that or actually have them send you a report, and I think that's totally fair for a client to ask. And they should be sharing that information with you to prove their value, I guess, right?
Well, right. So do you think 30 days is a fair timeline to start asking for that? And is it different for either campaign?
Yeah, I think 30 days for PPC is absolutely fair. I usually start sending out reports when we run a campaign every 2 weeks. So 14 days on PPC, you should be able to get an updated report. And you should be able to see that new data coming in. With SEO, I would say, yeah, probably every 30 days would be fair to kind of transition to measure your changes. And I would say, you're really going to see the changes about 60 days after you start the SEO campaign. So if you start getting it 30 days, and then the second month is where you should start seeing some raises or some declines, depending on the proper optimizations they're doing.
Okay.
And I just want to mention.
So I would ask.
Go ahead. Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so would I specifically ask like for an SEO report, or just ask for a overall report?
I would ask for an SEO report and a PPC report. Keep them separate. Make sure that I think when you get the SEO, the thing to look for, when you get the SEO report, make sure you're seeing different keywords on SEO than you are the PPC. You don't want to overlap, right? If you're ranking well on the SEO end and you're getting traffic, that's free traffic to your website. You want to make sure you're not bidding on that keyword and paying for that traffic that you should be getting for free, right? So getting an SEO report and a PPC report and just kind of measuring the different keywords that they're using for each, I think would be very beneficial. That's a great question. And
Thank you.
With that, I do want to mention, what I do with Controlled Chaos, what we do as a team is we build a analytics dashboard for all of our clients that's really customized to whatever you're looking for, whether that be traffic to your website or the keywords that you're ranking on. And we just share it with you as a client. I'm a big proponent of sharing all that data and leaving it as open as possible. The numbers speak for themselves. So when we run campaigns, we build this custom dashboard that's tailored to whatever goal or whatever measurement we establish at the beginning of the campaign, and it's accessible 24/7. So that's something I've heard that issue with agencies before, and we try to counteract that by just creating an open book for us, which is beneficial most of the time, but rather be honest than try to pull the wool over people's eyes. Yeah. Any other questions or anything? We got about 3 minutes. Great.
There's a chat
that
came through. Do you work with all types of businesses?
Yes, we do. The thing I like to say is while each company has their own little intricacies and each industry has their own special issues, Google's algorithm stays the same on a website, right? It's the same process on our end to try to structure a website to rank higher in SEO because the algorithm's the same. There are little intricacies, like we work with some cannabis companies that are unable to bid on pay-per-click ads because it's federally illegal. Even though it's legal in the state, Google still doesn't allow bidding on those keywords. So there are little intricacies in each one, but we work with all industries because the algorithm on the SEO end's the same. Any other questions?
Great question.
Yeah, that was a great question. Anything else? Cool.
All right.
Well,
If any others in, I'm going to flip over to my screen real quick.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing.
And thank you, Zach. No problem. The little bit of sound delay kind of messes me up a little bit. So I just want to remind everyone that this session was recorded, so we'll put it out there. We'll list it on our site as well as Controlled Chaos. To get to it, and we'll send an email too, but it's out on BCS website. We do have all the webinars done, including the previous one that we mentioned a couple of times under digital marketing. So a lot of the same content, maybe just different jokes and different conversation that's out on the website to see. And then today's webinar was making sense of digital marketing. Shortly after, we'll update this page and have that recording. So if you do want to share the content with anyone else, feel free to do that. We will be hosting another webinar May 14th for Dropbox and HelloSign. So there'll be communication going out to people about that webinar just to see how to use those tools. And we're open to doing other webinars, and we love working with our partner companies like Controlled Chaos to get some of that communication and that information out to you guys. So appreciate everyone for joining. Thank you, Zach, as always. And thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you.